Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to TSK F1. My name's Rich, and this is your daily dose of Formula One news. Did I say dosed or dose? Not sure. But anyway, daily dose of Formula One news. Today, we're going to be talking about Sergio Perez being snubbed. We're going to talk about the new McLaren that's going to be coming out, Lewis Hamilton hungrier than ever, and Gulf sponsorship of Williams. Without further ado, though, please do make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Good morning, everyone. First of all, we're going to be talking about Sergio Perez. Now, this actually, I picked up this story and then I've thought deeper about the situation at Red Bull. So I'm going to digress a little bit here, but the main story is that you may have seen that Max Verstappen has signed on to EA Sports as an esports athlete or whatever branding deal. Daniel Ricciardo has as well as part of that deal. So both Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo have been signed by EA Sports, and Sergio Perez hasn't been. And there's that. And then there's a few other things as well. Now, I can't verify these next two things, but maybe chat can help me with this or comment after I've been live. One other thing was that there are 2020, end of 22, 2023 Red Bull cans out there now, and packaging has got Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo on and not Sergio Perez. And I also heard, again, I can't verify this, I also heard that the Red Bull launch, they didn't speak to Sergio Perez, but they spoke to Max Verstappen and they spoke to Daniel Ricciardo. I don't know if that bit's true. Can anyone in chat confirm that? Because that's the only launch I've not been able to see, the Red Bull one. But maybe the person missed it because it went on quite a long time. But I thought there was 0-0 chance of Sergio Perez taking, Daniel Ricciardo taking a race seat at Red Bull. But if these other things are true, it doesn't look great for Sergio Perez at Red Bull, does it? If he's been literally frozen out of all marketing and everything like that, it's not good. They spoke with Checo Perez, but not much. Okay. I basically heard they didn't. Okay. So that's fair enough. But not much. Did they speak to Max and did they speak to Daniel Ricciardo more? It's an interesting one. And I don't think it would be a fair thing to do to Sergio Perez if they really do freeze him out in that way and they just replace him at the end of the season. There's a possibility, because I think Daniel Ricciardo would be happy to play second place at Red Bull these days when compared to what he's had going on recently. The question is actually, let's do this. Let's do this right. Try and set your biases aside, because people tend to like Daniel Ricciardo because he's a good lad, right? Is a good lad. So they tend to be biased simply because they think they can have a beer with him. But who is better? And let's remember recent form. But I'm gonna do a poll on this. Who's better, Perez or Danny Rick? Now, people again, they tend to get a little bit. They tend to get a little bit biased here. But we'll see. We'll see what people think. Perez or Danny Rick? Who's better? And let's not live off what Danny Rick did 5 years ago. Let's not do that. But John's saying, as Spanish-speaking, you'd have thought that he was a huge chunk of the market. And maybe, John, maybe we're just seeing the English-speaking and English part of the world marketing. Maybe in the Spanish-speaking part of the world, he is he's been marketed heavily. I really don't know. So it's just something that I've noticed. He's not being signed by EA, but Danny Rick and Max Verstappen have. They didn't speak to him all that much at the launch, apparently, and he's not or on some of it, he isn't on the Red Bull drink packaging, which is super interesting. We've had 9 votes so far, and they are 100% saying Perez is better, which is very interesting. I thought people would go for Danny Rick, but get your votes in the poll, guys, because I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Do you think that he is being frozen out, like I'm kind of implying? Do you think that's happening? Do you think Danny Rick could get himself a race seat in 2024? I'd love to know what you guys think. He's on the Red Bull can. Yeah, I'm not saying that he isn't Pascal. I'm not saying that he isn't Pascal, but there are loads that are released, and it's specifically Max and Danny Rick together as if they're teammates for this year. They've just been released. It's been all over the internet, mate. So there's definitely packaging out there that is just Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo as if they're teammates. And that's crazy. I think both on top form were probably very, very, very close. Nowadays, Perez has shown better consistency across multiple teams. No, it's all good. That's what I'm here for, Pascal. That's what I'm here for. I wouldn't be much of a news show. Danny Rick has the personality that suits the Red Bull image and will probably sell more cans of drink. That's not a way to run an F1 team, in my opinion. Well, this is the thing, Keith, isn't it? Sergio Perez, everything I've seen about him, he's got that little bit of fire about him, but he seems a nice guy, you know. And I feel like nearly anyone, if they might feel that they're being frozen out in some way, it might not be conducive to good results, you know. It might not be a good thing. But there we go. We've got 90% of voting for Perez at the moment in the poll. But I'd love to know what you guys think. As soon as Danny Rick went there, I thought he will be a second driver either halfway through the season or at the end of the season as a cheaper option if Perez doesn't perform at the start. You know, that's a thing. That is a thing, isn't it? That is a thing. Red Bull do not care. They are savages at dropping drivers. And we'll watch the media. Like, I'll try and be unbiased, but watch the media. Watch your Sky Sports and things like that. Because they'll start running a narrative. And if it's that Perez isn't delivering and it's fairly early in the season, just keep your eye on that. It's worth it. And try and stay open to that thought, because they do it with a lot of different things. They genuinely do. If you go back and look at F1, maybe of the past 3 or 4 seasons, and then look at what the sort of, I hate to sound like one of these guys, but see what the mainstream outlets were saying, and then the reality of the situation, they don't tend to marry up, but people get lost in the headline, just the headline, you know? My view is that Red Bull wouldn't have Rick there as only a cheerleader. Yep. Albon got it harsh. Look, Gasly, he wasn't harsh. Can't see Danny Rick doing a better number 2 job than Perez. Probably, I pretty much agree, Keith. Honestly, I think Perez is one of those guys that he'll push, but he'll deliver as well, you know. And I think these days Perez is right up there. He is right up there. But yeah, it's just an interesting question that I thought I'd put out to you guys. Did we think that he was being frozen out? We've got 91% now in favour of Perez. I'll leave that poll up for people coming in and out. But we're going to move on just quickly to Williams and the Gulf livery. Now, when we saw the livery reveal, I wasn't disappointed, but I was hoping to see something more like this than what we got. You know, I was hoping to see more Gulf colours. And Gulf have actually come out and said, we have a lot of Gulf fans around the world, and we have a lot of requests for our livery. We want our livery to be special. We're launching a number of fan-centric activation plans. We always feel that Gulf is a fan's favourite, and we want our fans to be part of that. We're looking at different solutions for that right across Formula One, and we'll be launching activation plans in the near future. So it looks like you might see something changing with the Williams livery throughout the season. And that answer was related to a question about whether we would see a McLaren-style livery at Monaco, you know, when they went full Gulf and things like that. And they're basically saying, you know we've got fans, we're working on things, you know. It's possibly just trying to stay away from that McLaren Monaco livery. Yeah. And yeah, you're probably right, but Gulf be Gulf. I'd love to see it just because I love seeing it on the grid. You know, I love seeing it on the grid. Please do remember to hit that like button. Would you like to see the Williams fully Gulf shod like that? Do you think that would be a good look? Do let me know in the chat. Just a quick one, though, just a quick one that I thought I'd share because I like the Gulf colours. They're iconic within motor racing entirely, aren't they? So, yesterday evening, we got the announcement that McLaren would be naming their 2023 car the MCL60. Now, they are going away from the sort of lineage of their car names, I believe, in order to do this. And this is because it is the 60th anniversary since McLaren's foundation, which was in 1963. So they're calling it the MCL60. And yeah, so back when Zach Brown started, it was something like the MCL33, I think. Oh no, the MCL33 was the first Honda car. And that continued until MCL36. And they're going MCL60 for this year's car. Now, I will be covering this on Monday. So on Monday, I'm not sure what time Aston Martin is, but we have the Aston Martin launch, which I will 100% be covering. Yeah. And on Monday as well, at 5 p.m., we have the McLaren launch. So I'll be covering that as well. So, yeah, both of those are on Monday, Aston Martin and McLaren, and both of them will be live on this channel, and I'll be chatting about it, even if it's got to be images, and I draw the images in, and we react to them live. DGM says, F1 car naming is almost as logical as the way the Xbox Series have been named. Indeed. I remember when the Ferrari brought out their latest F1 car. Can't remember what year it was. Was it 20? No, it wasn't 2015. I think it was before. But it was the Ferrari F150, which makes sense. The Ferrari F150. It makes sense. Does anyone know of the car manufacturer that has an F150, and do you know what it is? There's one for chat. Keith saying the Gulf livery would be great. Love the cars, easy to spot within a pack of cars. Love the pink F1 for the same reason. My daughter loved the pink F1. I like the look, the whole BWT thing. I love that. I suppose it beats the McLaren MP4-12C. Yeah, yeah. Ford pickup. Yeah, indeed. And Ford immediately launched a legal action against Ferrari and said, we've got an F-150 and ours is better. No, they didn't say that last bit. But yeah, so they do actually have to be careful about the naming of it. Yeah, it's a pickup, Ford pickup, indeed. Get your votes into the poll, guys. Who is better, Perez or Daniel Ricciardo? So Monday, just as a reminder, I'm going to find out about the Aston Martin launch, but I suppose Aston Martin and McLaren, I'm looking at my whiteboard, that's why I'm looking over this side, guys. Aston Martin and McLaren wouldn't overlap their launches, so I guess if McLaren are at 5 o'clock, we'd probably see Aston Martin at about 3 o'clock on Monday, but we'll see. I'll find that out. Keep subscribed to the channel because I will schedule those. I'll schedule those streams, and you should get a little notification for them as long as you are subscribed. How long we've been live? 14 minutes. Okay, awesome stuff. Lewis Hamilton, title story, hungrier than ever. Now, this has come from a Instagram post that he has put up where it's a photo of him sat on the seat of his cat with a number 1 on it when he was a kid, and he wrote with the caption, remember how excited I was when I saw my first go-kart wrapped up in my living room. I saw it before I was supposed to, and I had to act all surprised when my parents called me in to open it. Even walked in with my back turned and acted like it wasn't there. From the very first time I got to drive it, I felt at one. I knew I was meant to do this. I knew I was powerful, more powerful and hungrier than other kids. The hunger was there from day one, and it's still there today. I was hungry then, so much hungrier now. And he is, I think he's firing a warning shot. It's nice little sentiment looking back there, but I think he's firing a warning shot and maybe letting his fans know that, okay, last season wasn't great, but I'm still here and I'm hungry, is still hungry. And I think it's worth noting as well what I thought I would know. I did report on this at the end of last season. I gave you all the dates for the Pirelli tyre tests. One of those happened this week at Jerez in Spain. And Hamilton and George Russell both drove there, and so did Aston Martin with Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll doing a tyre test for Pirelli. And that was Tuesday and yesterday. 7 p.m. Ooh, okay. Okay, well, Rich is in for a very busy night then, isn't he? 5, 7, and then we might not do a pit lane stream that night. We might just do extra long TSKF1 streams on Monday. We'll see. I believe him as well. So he's gone sentimental there. Let's do another poll. Right, get ready for this. If you're Hamilton and Max fans, here, by the way, if you're a Hamilton fan, if you're a Max fan, if you're a Charles fan, whoever you're a fan of, it's all about the sport. It's all about the love. It's all about the competition. It's not about the Sky Sports-esque sort of getting at each other. So I want to do a little poll. So who is better, Perez or Danny Rick? 81% of people have said Perez. So I think there could be a little bit, people like Danny Rick, but I think there could be a little bit of, people not happy if Danny Rick jumps in there. So here's a question for you. Will Lewis be fighting for the championship this season? Yes, no. There you go. Go for it, guys. The question, a poll in chat right now for you. Will he be fighting for the championship this season? I know we've got preseason testing to come and things. Lewis's PR team believe that it would be good for Lewis's image if he says that he's hungrier than ever. I'm not one of them people, Keith. Honestly, I'm not one of them people, Keith. I think it's very easy to drop into that whole thought of Lewis only puts out what his PR team says, and I honestly don't agree with that, because people don't say it about other drivers. So maybe Lewis Hamilton is just an all right guy that's hungry to win. Maybe. I know it's a crazy thing, but maybe he just put out an Instagram post being sentimental about a picture of himself on a kart when he was a kid, Maybe he just did that. Or maybe it did go through loads of PR, but nobody says it about any other driver on the grid, and I don't really get why they say it about Lewis Hamilton, because he does many, many interviews these days where he just seems like a perfectly all right, humble type of chap. So, yeah, I mean, if he does, he does, but who knows? Who knows? Nice of Mert to align their car launch with the time of our morning TSK. They must have got your email. They work quite nicely with Alfa Romeo the other day as well, actually, because inadvertently it was first thing in the morning. It was first thing in the morning, and it worked perfectly for that. I heard Bottas only grew his mustache because PR team told him to. Look, I'm not having a go at anyone. I think it just requires balance, doesn't it? And it's like saying, did Max Verstappen... Well, here you go. Did Max Verstappen only slag off R-Factor 2 live on the internet because he was signing a deal with EA Sports 3 weeks later? Who knows? Who knows? He's rich beyond anyone's wildest dreams, and it's far better person than people give him and his family credit for. People will get over it one day. I'm not having a go. I'll just be completely obtuse. And no, I'm not having a go at anyone. I always just like to try and offer balance, you know. I think we like to think that, you know, these Lewis Hamilton has got plenty of examples where he has said his mind and it's been a stupid thing to say. And I don't think everything is filtered through a PR team. And I think even Lewis Hamilton fans would admit that he's said plenty of things in the past where you literally just go, oh, dude. Like, as an F1 fan, I've watched him and thought that. And I same as I have with Max, you just think, oh, mate, you've just said that out loud, like on TV. Oh, like, you know, they all do it at some point, don't they? They all say something daft at some point. You know, but do we think he's going to be challenging for the title? We've got 85% of people saying yes. I love the fact that people were hating winning another title. I admit some of his titles seem somewhat diluted, but him coming back to win, I would like, as an F1 fan, I'd like him to go for it. I'd like him to go for it just because I don't want to see another season like last season, because I feel like last season the legitimacy of Ferrari's ability to keep up with Red Bull was massively overblown. It was massively overblown. Like, people arguing with me, even late into the season, saying the Ferrari was quicker. It just wasn't. I don't know what sport they were watching, but it wasn't Formula One. I think the Ferrari was marginally faster for about the first 3 rounds of the championship, or something like that last season. And then the Red Bull, especially from the mid-season, they were just untouchable, right? And I'm not being Red Bull hate. I'm a fan of Formula One, and I want to see a championship all the way through. That's what I want to see. I'd like to see whether it's Lewis Hamilton, whether it's Leclerc, whether it's, I don't know, let's throw something random in there. Whether it's, I don't know, let's think. Pierre Gasly at Alpine, whether it's Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin, who knows? I'd like to see that kind of situation, you know? I want to see it go a lot longer than it did last season, because I think, you know, if I remember watching France, was it? And Leclerc was catching or was in the lead, one of the two, and he crashed. It was like reminiscent of a Vettel 2018 moment. You just knew that was it. That was it. Whatever happened, Max wasn't going to let up the same way as Lewis didn't let back up there, you know? And I was a bit gutted, and I couldn't then engage with the narrative of, well, Ferrari, they're still in it. Ferrari keep making mistakes. It was more than the mistakes they made tactically. It definitely was. Thank you for getting involved in the chat, by the way, guys. It makes these shows so much better when you guys are interjecting your chat and getting involved in it. Gives me loads more to work from and chat about. If the car's good enough, he'll always be in the hunt. I agree. Until he decides he's gone, Keith, I think you're right. I think you get certain drivers. I think like a Lewis. I firmly believe still, if you give Alonso half a car, he'd be somewhere up there making a nuisance of himself. He's that kind of driver. And honestly, we saw flashes of it. I honestly felt the same about Vettel towards the end of last season. If you'd have still given him a car that was capable, he'd have been making a nuisance of himself up at the sharp end. You just get those drivers, I think, that are a bit different, you know, and that they can be competitive until they choose not to be, you know, and leave the sport, I feel, you know. But Pascal, I don't think he will, but I don't think Mercedes will be up there, and I think Russell will be faster than Lewis. I literally disagree with all that, Pascal. But fair play. Opinions be different. I highly rate Russell, but he isn't Lewis Hamilton. I like Russell more than Hamilton, in fact, but he isn't Lewis Hamilton. I hate seasons like last season, irrespective of champion. Yeah, I'm in agreement. Nick says, I'm hoping for at least a 3-way challenge this year. At least this way, if someone drops off like last year, yeah, Yeah, I'm on board with that. Russ, hello. I'd love Lando to be up there at the top end. Now, that's an interesting thing. I'm digressing massively here. I love it when the show does this. I love it. Lando Piastri. Now, if you've not seen it, guys, I put out a video yesterday where I'm talking about Oscar Piastri and all the new coming and returning drivers to Formula One for this season. There's 4 of them. Go and give it a watch. And I'll run down the history of Oscar Piastri a little bit, what he's won on his way to Formula One. Oscar Piastri could genuinely, look, I'm not saying he is, but he could be almost a generational talent with what he's done on his way to Formula One. He could give Lando some massive problems. And please recognize I'm saying could give Lando some massive problems. He really could be the real deal. Very, very, very fast driver. And it's going to be, that is going to be one of my most keenly watched little in-team battles, how Oscar Piastri performs against Lando Norris. I've previously said if Oscar Piastri can get 70% of the points that Lando Norris does in his first season, it's a success. Anything more is mega, mega work. Keith saying, would love a season like the first Pirelli season that no one could get a handle on the tyres. Was that the one where we had like 7 winners in the first 7 races? Or was it 9 winners in the first 9 races? It was something crazy, wasn't it? Was that season? Was that the season Maldonado won as well? I'm trying to remember. But was that season? That's all I would like, a battle between more than 2 drivers. Make them work for the money, Keith. Yeah, make them work for the money. So the poll at the minute, will Lewis be fighting for the championship this season, is 80% yes. You should have a little Lando versus Piastri clock in the top corner. I'm going to be watching that, you know, and I think we're going to do a TSK wide where it's me, John and Harry, like prediction thing. I think we should do that. Drivers champion, constructors champion, and then surprise of the season and stuff like that. 7 in 7, then Red Bull sussed it out and Vettel walked it. Yeah, that seems to ring a bell, Keith, for me. And interestingly, that seemed massively, I mean, again, I started on Lewis Hamilton here, but I've digressed. That is what happened last season, and Pirelli have spoken openly about it, and I haven't seen anywhere else report it other than me, honestly, that Pirelli said from a certain point in the season, last season, Red Bull figured out the new car dynamic and the Pirelli tyres and how to just make them last basically forever with their Red Bull car. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he's one of the head Pirelli guys. He basically said Red Bull went from chewing up the tyres like everybody else to just being able to run and run and run and run on those tyres. And we saw that at Mexico, I want to say. And the Pirelli guy was saying they definitely did something with the geometry of the suspension, and they just generally figured out something to do with the balance of their car around the midpoint of last season, which was just super, super kind to the tyres. And I remember seeing a comparison where it was Leclerc's Ferrari and Max's Red Bull, and Leclerc's Ferrari had newer tyres, but they were ruined. They were ruined. So I think that's key. And Red Bull, for whatever reason, they seem, like you've just mentioned there, Keith, they seem to get a handle on that stuff really, really well. And it's not unlike what we've seen from Alfa Romeo the other day. If you're watching my launch stream of the Alfa Romeo car, they've completely reprofiled the rear of their car, the geometry, the suspension, how the aero works, absolutely everything. And that will be, in part, to look after the tyres as well as helping the airflow to the rear. I realise I'm not talking about Lewis Hamilton at all now. I've just gone on and on and on. But the base thing is, Lewis Hamilton saying he's hungry, and he is hungrier than ever. And I think a hungry Lewis Hamilton, genuinely, is a great thing for us as Formula One fans. You want to see Lewis Hamilton battling with Max and with Charles and with George. You want to see that, don't you? You want to see that. I do. Anyway, I want to see that. I want to see as many drivers as possible up there. Who knows? We might get some surprises. Can't wait for testing, which kicks off on the 23rd of February. And I'm going to be pumping out as many live streams and as many videos as I can around that period to keep you guys updated. I really am. Please do make sure you've smashed a like on the stream, guys, and also hit that subscribe button down below. It really, really, really helps. I've been live for absolutely ages this morning. See, I love it when there's a bit of chat, guys. I love it when there's a bit of chat. It keeps everything moving and it's awesome. But that'll be it for this morning's stream. Let me just end this poll, if I can figure it out. 80% of you thinking that Lewis Hamilton will be in the hunt for the championship this season. I'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, as always, with the latest F1 news. Guys, please do remember to hit that like button and subscribe down below. There might be another video today, I'm not sure, but please do subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.